Yeah, the interview looks great, man. Just got to finish the editing on it, and we'll give you a call as soon as it's done. All right? Cool. All right. Talk to you soon. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. This is See the Vision TV. I'm your host, Christopher Jenkins. And on my new show, See the Vision TV, what we're going to be looking to do is to bring you some of the most creative, most provocative, and most charismatic thinkers of our generation. So, with that in mind, y'all stay tuned. I got some great guests. Y'all going to want to check this out.
This episode of See the Vision is brought to you by the Albany Fish Company, located 1921 Dawson Road, Albany, Georgia.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back once again. This is See the Vision. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher Jenkins. Nothing but the best guests in store for you. You already know how it goes. Today, I did not disappoint. I got another one. Man. I promise y'all, man. It's so crazy how I met this young woman. We met through social media, how a lot of networking tends to take place nowadays. And when we actually got a chance to speak and to vibe, I was completely blown away by her story. I mean, she's just dope. No other word. I don't know that she's just dope. She's cool. She's refreshing. I mean, she's hip. I mean, she has so much knowledge on so many things. She's been through a lot. I'm glad we could have her. We have none other than Miss Tannur Ali.
That's right.
World-renowned poet, spoken word artist. Let me just throw that in there, man. Like, it's crazy what she's doing right now. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm hyped to be on this couch.
That's what's up. You made it to the couch.
Yes,
right.
I made it.
That's what's up. Okay. So with all my guests, I like to give them a few minutes just to kind of share with the people some background on themselves, you know, where they're from, you know, kind of how they came up a little bit, you know. So if you just give us a little bit into the background of Miss Ali. That's
okay.
That's a famous name too, by the way. Ali, right.
Yes. So I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I moved down here when I was 25. Decided to jump out of a domestic violence situation, change my life, make sure I was putting my children in the right situation, and also taking advantage of the fact that my grandmother was here, who was their great-grandmother. And she passed away a couple of years ago, but I wanted to make sure they were able to build that connection too. And so we got down here, and I just started reaching out, trying to find poets, trying to find artists, trying to figure out, you know, how to start things. So I ended up getting into the Downtown Arts Coalition and working on the art park and, you know, just kind of sliding into every kind of artsy thing that I could figure out. Did Wet Mic Wednesdays for a little while. That was cool. And then started the Unplugged Poetry thing.
Okay.
When Global Essence was down the street. Okay. And moved from there into starting the iLogic program.
Right. Okay. So, you're not new to this whole poetry and this whole writing thing, you know, because we spoke a little bit, you know, the other day, and, you know, I was able to get a little insight onto, you know, how far you've come doing your thing. You actually said that growing up that your parents were Nation of Islam, right? And in that environment, you know, you were able to gain a real knowledge of yourself and understanding of who you were as a young lady, and that really influenced you a lot in your writing from early on, because you shared with me that you actually started writing. Check this out, y'all. She started writing poetry when she was 8 years old. She performed live for the first time when she was 11 years old. She published her first book when she was 14 and had her first official book signing when she was only 16 years old.
Yeah.
So, like, could you tell us a little bit about that whole
My mom is crazy.
Era?
I mean,
like, how did you know? That's a lot, you know.
It's
like,
a lot, but
people still kind of figuring out what to wear and stuff. And, you know, you made career moves. Like, what was that like?
It was necessary. You know, I came from, like you said, I was raised in the Nation of Islam. So, with that kind of background, there's a high expectation of what you're going to achieve in life, period. You know, there's a recognition that you come from greatness, that you are greatness, you carry greatness with you, and it's your responsibility to bring greatness into the world. And so when my mom started pulling me into the poetry circuit, she just started doing research and finding out what was there. And there was a place called the October Art Gallery in Philadelphia. It's still there to this day. And they do incredible work in the arts community. And they had a poetry night called Panoramic Poetry. And she took me there one day, and I was just blown away. I mean, first time being in that kind of environment where people were doing spoken word and poetry was a thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I looked up and they called my name. And I looked at my mom like, and she was like, go ahead. Pulled my notebook out of her purse and sent me up on stage. And that was the beginning of it. And I started doing all sorts of things. A program with PBS for a little while, and just all kind of just, you know, she just threw me out there, and I was like, oh, okay, let's go, you know?
Right.
It was exciting at that time to be able to have some recognition for a talent that I wasn't even sure of yet, you know, but I started to kind of get some chops and say, okay, well, this is something that makes me feel like I'm a part of a real community. You know?
Right. Okay. So, as you did, you know, okay, you caught up in the whirlwind, you know, you're just a youngin', you know, you're doing your thing. You said you were in Philly, you know, getting all kind of notices from, you know, the poetry community, you know, because you're so young, and that really resonated with a lot of people, you know, like, wow, who's this young, gifted, talented little girl, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you went through all that, you know, everybody was hyping you up, I guess, so to say. So, like, you're growing now, and how did your poetry begin to change, you know, as you got a little older and mature? You know, you went through a few things. I know you said
I did.
You know, you went through a domestic violence relationship, and, you know, so how did your artistry begin to change as your life?
Well, the progression was, I think around the time I was 11, when my mom was pulling me into the poetry community, she recognized that I was becoming depressed. And I suffered with major depressive disorder from the time I was 10 or 11 years old. And she felt like it was necessary for me to have an outlet, you know, and for me to be able to find a way through the arts to be able to express myself and what I was dealing with. And so when I was very young, I was writing a lot of poetry about where I was living. I was living in South Philly. It was normal. You know what I'm saying? The police brutality and issues that we see going on now are not new issues.
Not new, right? Yeah.
These are not new issues. But what it is that there's a necessity to make sure that the people in the arts community and the people who are making a difference in the community are reporting on what they're experiencing. You know, that's where rap comes from. That's where hip hop comes from. It's a necessity to report on what's happening so that you can make it known for a wider audience and start to discuss solutions. And so at first my poetry was very much about what I was seeing. And then I started to express kind of some of the deeper stuff that was going on within myself. She got me a Roget's Thesaurus, about that thick.
Right.
And that became my favorite book. And I'm just like, words. I mean, it was like a treasure chest of words. And that was the first time I heard the word introspective. And when I started to discover what that meant, you got to look inside yourself.
Right.
That was very powerful for me. It was very necessary for me to be able to look inside myself and kind of flesh out what I was dealing with. And that got me through. And later, I just started having a lot of experiences where I was the girl people would come to and tell their secrets.
Right.
And so I started writing a lot of poetry about, just from a vicarious perspective, you know, and from other people's experiences and sharing that kind of thing. And when I would perform, I found out how many people were dealing with those issues. And so it was very necessary for me to have a voice that people could relate to.
Right.
And
it's almost kind of like that question, like, I guess when the teacher would tell you, like, no question is a bad question, because it's somebody that was thinking that same thing. It was kind of that same situation, right?
Absolutely. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, ask questions to learn all about yourself. And at first I thought that meant ask other people what they think about me. And I learned that there's no question I can ask about any subject that doesn't teach me something about myself.
Okay.
And so that's where that kind of exploration started to come from. And so my poetry became more explorative about what was happening with me, but also what was happening with other people. And that's where I realized that there's connections between us that we just don't acknowledge a lot of times.
Exactly. Okay. Man, that's deep. But what would I expect from Ms. Ali though, right? Okay, so you were doing your poetry still a lot, but you also shared with me that you were doing a lot of work in the community as well, working with the youth and helping them understand how major the arts are and how big a part of that is for them to express themselves and get out those feelings and such that you just kind of spoke on. So you actually said you were working with a group called the Emerging Leaders of Social Artistry? Yes. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And what's been going on with that? That's right here in Albany that you've been working with them?
Actually, I got connected with that in Colquitt.
Okay.
Colquitt is this
right
teeny tiny town,
right
about 45 minutes away from Albany.
Right up the road.
In January, they have a conference called the Building Creative Communities Conference. And it's a really powerful set of work called social artistry that teaches you to look at life through 4 different levels: the physical, sensory, psychological, historic, the mythic, symbolic, and then finally the unitive. And so once I got into that work, that was once I got down here to Albany. I was connected, a friend of mine, Rosanna, connected me in with that group. And when I first went to the conference, they were just kind of gathering a group of young people between the ages of 18 and 35 to say, hey, it's time to get some work done. Here's a tool you can use to do whatever it is you do better. And once I got connected with that, so many of my other talents started to come through. The ability to do paperwork and write curriculum and all sorts of things. So that was kind of the beginning of my traveling outside of this area, a little further. My first trip to the West Coast was with the Emerging Leaders, all sorts of things. So it's really powerful work. And in the past couple of years, it's been really important to me to connect other artists with that work and to say, hey, there are other ways that we can look at our situations and grow beyond them.
Right, okay. And speaking of traveling, as I said earlier, y'all, she's world renowned. You know what I mean? So you also shared with me that you had a chance to visit Istanbul.
I did.
Recently. What was that like? What was
It was mind blowing. Okay, so I ended up in Istanbul on a layover. I went to Slovenia for a conference there, called the Art of Management and Organization.
Okay.
I ended up being accepted there to come and share my poetry at a management school. Okay. And it was they had this like fantastic academic conference where they brought in the arts and they wanted to know like, how do we really empower the intangible? That was the conference theme. And so I got to connect with a lot of people there, ended up winning an international slam title. The whole thing was just mind-blowing and crazy,
Right.
Okay? I had a lot of support over the course of this year to prepare me to go to that. Social Artistry Institute that was at Southern Oregon University, led by Jean Houston and Peggy Rubin, was really incredible, where we studied not just arts and community development, but quantum physics. Okay. Really, really powerful, like incredible stuff, like change the way you look at the world. So the world that you're looking at changes, you know? And so once I came back from the conference in Slovenia, my 1-hour layover in Istanbul turned into a 26-hour layover.
Okay.
And so I said, well, let me get a visa. And I jumped out there and I went to go and explore Istanbul, and it was really incredible. One day I just got a hotel room in the middle of the city and started walking around and exploring. And some would say that was dangerous, but I would say it was exciting.
Yeah.
And, standing on the corner in Istanbul spitting poetry in English. Everybody's walking around speaking Arabic. And,
right.
Was a really powerful experience in resonance and finding out that it's not just what you're saying, but it's how you're saying it. And it's the spirit that it's coming from, because people connected.
Yeah.
I mean, even beyond the language gap, there was true connection there. So yeah, that was powerful. That was mind blowing.
Right. Okay. So when did you get back? You
I got
recently?
back Yeah, September 8th. And
Okay.
I've been here in Albany for about a month, preparing for a passport party and launching the next phase of my tour and that sort of thing.
Right. Tell me a little bit about that passport party.
Okay, so iLogic, which is an organization I started, is really a grassroots networking organization called Institute for the Love of Genius in Community.
Okay.
And the idea is that everybody is a genius. We just need the support system to bring it out of us. And so it's about teaching and learning. That everybody has something to teach and everyone has something to learn. So the passport party is a part of launching our international travel club. I came back from Istanbul on fire. Like, I can't do this by myself no more. I got to bring other people with me so that they know that all of the boundaries that we set for ourselves are ones that we are setting for ourselves.
Right.
And we can dissolve them when we decide to. And so the passport party is a chance to teach people how we can come together to create a better situation for each other. So it's really crazy. $15 for a ticket, right? So the idea is not that I make a bunch of money off of it. 12 out of every $15 goes toward the fees for a passport. So 1 in 10 people who show up to the event get the fees covered for a passport. While there's information about, our first trip is going to be to Ghana in March 2018.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing a class about that, like how you understand the culture and what's happening over there before people go, and really connecting people into the idea that we can help each other level up from where we are. No more crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
Everybody can help each other, pull each other up, We can do it.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's stopping us is not recognizing our power. So I got something to say about that.
That's what's up. When is the passport party going to be now?
It's going to be this Sunday, the 16th, at the Albany Arts Council.
Okay, right downtown, right in front of the
right by the municipal auditorium.
Yeah, right by the auditorium.
Yeah.
Right downtown, across the street from the public library.
Yes.
Right across the street. So for anybody that wants to go down there and take a chance to get you a free passport, come on down. That's only $15?
Only $15. And the thing is, it's $20 at the door. But the thing is that I want to make sure that people understand is that you walk into this event as a customer. You walk out of this event as a philanthropist. All of us have the potential to level someone else up and be leveled up at the same time. So come out, support.
Yeah, y'all do that.
And not just support what everybody else has going on, but find out how you can level up too. We'll have information about things you can do in Georgia to expand your mind as well.
Okay.
And that's important.
That's what's up, man. Wow. That's what's up, man. Like, it's so crazy because I never would have known this about you. And I'm so glad that you reached out to me because your story was one that I needed to hear.
Thank you.
Because you a strong sister, man. Like, we need more like you, man, for real. Like, you're doing your thing, and I totally salute you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're gonna give us a little something?
Yeah, spit something.
You gonna spit something? Okay. So we're gonna say that.
Okay, cool.
When we come back to you, we're gonna have something exclusive for you from Tannur Ali, no doubt, man. Once again, this has been See the Vision. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher Jenkins, and remember, don't just see that vision, be that vision. All right. Till next time.
This is She Writes, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with See the Vision. So glad to be sharing my vision with everybody. I'm going to share a piece called Prayers. And it's all about recognizing that faith without works is dead. It's up to us to make our dreams come true. Prayers are regurgitated realities, hurled through space like differences and commonalities on a mission to ascend past incompletions, like physics, legalities. They are the capacities of our intellect reflected in can't do it without you mentalities, and who is you but I, reflected back at me in the image of the unseen. Faith is not a belief in things unseen. It's the sight of things not previously perceived, and hope is audacious in its handling of limited understanding, like I really tried. Gave 100% of I. Didn't get what was expected. Now all I got is a mission to ascend and a blank stare from the children I almost didn't bear. The miracle I almost didn't believe till it was conceived inside me and my belly swole to take note of my capacity to manifest infinitely. When I say my, I mean our. You know, all of time is mine and yours. I mean ours, delineated by faces and hands with no guts. Exaggerated on those days we wake up yelling, what? But lost in the moments before sleep came. When we came together and time stopped ticking, touched with the lightness of a feather or slammed to a halt, 'cause of bad weather or second thoughts. Like, how much time have I got, Doc? Sonny said something about a hope and a prayer. Hughes said something about a crystal stare. MJ said, I'll be there, and God said, let there be light. So I'm like, ¿Dónde está el fuego? For real though, where's the fire when you're trying to get higher? Fighting lows like they don't inspire. All the while the middle gets slammed against glass ceilings that really aren't sealing out the darkness or in the light. Really, it's the sight that permeates perspectives, gives incentive to collective thoughts or moments, movements, revolutions that seem so dim when you're not nocturnal. So eyes closed in hopes of morning. Open wide to stop the torment of morning. It's all really a warning, or a dawning, or the spawning of a new prayer. And prayers are regurgitated realities, hurled through space like differences and commonalities on a mission to ascend, past incompletions, like physics, legalities. They are the capacities of our intellect, reflected in can't do it without you mentalities, and who is you? But I, reflected back at me in the image of the unseen. Namaste.
See the vision, y'all.
Yes. Oh, and check out the website, shewrites.com, SHEWRIGHTZ.com. Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Love y'all.
Peace.
Black Golden Kid.